Hey everybody, Ben here from the Bonehead podcast and welcome to Theory Thursday. Every week we get together and we have a bit of a deep dive into an area of Blood Bowl. We kind of give it a bit of an explore, we double check the rules and we find out what advantage we can get from learning about it. Whether it's stats or strats, the whole goal here is to understand the game better and maybe eke out a few extra wins. So this week we are going to be looking at Surf or Turf, which was recommended to us as a topic by Sam Frenzy Garner, friend of the podcast. Won one of our tournaments, came second in another one. Bit of a mad frenzy head. Awesome guy. So we're going to be looking at whether it is right to crowd surf somebody versus dropping them to the ground and then fouling them. So we're going to run some numbers and we're going to talk some theory about this, because there are definitely going to be some times where you are contemplating this. And I say that because I've just been farming out a bunch of dwarf games for the Formations series, and there's a lot of times where actually Slayer's able just to pop a dude off and I'm like, I just feel a bit let down now. I don't get a chance to get the SPP, I don't get a chance to mighty blow them. It's just a bit of a shame. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look and find out the answer. So Surf or Turf, the breakdown. Basically you have a choice. You would have blocked well, you'll be in a position to knock somebody into the crowd, or you can knock them onto the ground and then follow up with a foul. Now, there are advantages to both of these things. The crowd surf, the obvious advantage is that player is off the pitch. They are gone. Straight away, no problems at all. You automatically break the armor, so you don't even have to worry about what armor they are. So I guess the first heuristic here is if you are up against something that is armor 10 plus, then you want to pop them in the crowd anyway, because you know your chances of breaking their armor are quite slim. Now, the other alternative is to pound them to the ground, have a go at their armor breakage, so you're immediately reducing the chance of actually going to the injury roll, so stunned, knockout or casualty, but you've still got the opportunity to use Mighty Blow, and the chance, therefore, of grabbing those sweet SPP. This is the key element here, though. You can also follow up and foul, and that will almost give you a second chance at that injury roll. Now, it won't really, because there's always a chance of rolling a knockout, and that's it, your job done. But there's such a high chance of you getting a stun on that injury roll that being able to go for a cheeky foul afterwards does increase your likelihood of actually casualtying something off. So when you are faced with the opportunity to Surf or Turf a War Dancer, let's have a look and see what's statistically better. So first up, it's the crowd surf. Like we said before, no armor to consider here at all. It goes straight to injury roll. Now, the downside of this is that if there is a stunned result, they're going straight into reserves. So that's the one that I think Sam was kind of highlighting, like, it just seems a waste when you actually go to the effort for performing a decent crowd surf and then they drop off the pitch and go straight into reserves and they're back again in a second. So we are going to surf a dude, and then there is a 58% chance that they're going to go straight into reserves with a stunned result. There's a 25% chance they're going to get a knockout result. Now, that's going to give them a 4+ roll to come back to the pitch at the start of the next drive. And there's a 17% chance you are going to casualty them. Now, this is straight away no armor rolls at all. So 1 in 6 chance, 1 in 6 crowd surfs is going to be a straight up casualty. Now, we use the term removal quite a lot on the podcast, and honestly, this is entirely removal. Okay, removing a guy from the pitch, whether they are stunned or knocked out, they're gone from the pitch. Casualty is the best kind of removal because they are gone unless they get appoed back. That can happen. See last week's show. But removal is removal, and what that does is even if they're stunned off the pitch and they're coming back at the next drive, you have increased your numerical superiority, unless you're playing against Snotlings, in which case, their armor is so low, just go for the POW. So actually that's not true, because they are dodgy sidesteppy dudes. If you ever find a way to actually surf a Snotling, do it, because that's worth extra credit. Stunned, knockout, they're both gone, okay? They're gone from the pitch. You will then have more numbers to make more good blocks on your opponent. So that is fine. I know it feels a bit, he's just stunned. He's just back in reserves. I know, but let's reframe it. And I think this is probably one of the biggest things to consider about this is, yes, you've popped him off and he's gone to reserves. That is no different from knocking them out and them coming back on a 4+. You have just temporarily knocked them out. They are a KO that automatically comes back. That's still removal. That's still good for you. Especially because, like I said, you've now got that extra number advantage, which means you should be able to farm more hurt on them. And then, of course, you've got Casualty. And Casualty is a very tasty outcome in this one. Now, there is a 42% chance, straight up, no mods, no nothing. That's not fair if they've got thick skull or stunty, etc. 42% chance of KO+. So there is a 42% chance that they can be gone for the rest of the game. Depending on how many drives you got, they can be gone for the rest of the game. So the benefit of the Crown Surf here is it completely ignores armor. You just straight up roll 1 in 6 casualty. Almost half the time they are going to be at least knocked out. But that's the easy route. Okay, we're going to look at ground turf now. We're going to look at knocking them to the ground. So armor 8+, there is a 41.7% chance of breaking the armor. Armor 9+ is a 27.8% chance of breaking that armor, and armor 10+ is a 16.7% chance of breaking that armor. So we've looked at this. Surfing goes straight through. Straight up 42% chance of KO+. You've got a better chance of knocking someone out. Actually, you've got the same amount of chance of knocking somebody out on a surf as you do of even breaking the armor before even rolling for injury. Even breaking the armor for an armor 8+ guy. So you have the same odds to knock out almost anybody with a Crown Surf that as you do to breaking the armor of a Skaven lineman. Now, I'm a Skaven coach with a horrific minus casualty figure. And you know what? That makes sense. Okay, you don't have to do that second roll. So already we can see that statistically, if you want to hurt your opponent, it is better to take that surf. The element that we're going to come to in a second is when Mighty Blow and Dirty Player comes into effect, and you get that extra chance to roll that casualty on the foul roll. So this is the chance to break the armor. And when you add in the aim of at least knocking them out, armor 8+, there's a 17% chance. Armor 9+, 12%, and armor 10+, 7%. So this is straight up, I haven't surfed them, I've powered them to the ground, and this is my chance of knocking them out, or better. 42% chance if you surf them, okay? 17% chance with armor 8+, leaving them on the pitch. So that's 3 times, okay? It's 3 times more likely to KO+ to surf them than it is to take out an armor 8+ piece. The other thing to kind of tailor in here is that armor 8+ here, 1 in 6 chance of getting a KO or better. There's a straight up 1 in 6 chance of a casualty. Okay, this is KO or better here. 1 in 6 chance of a casualty going straight for the surf. So actually the numbers are looking like the surf gives us removal. Let's add Mighty Blow into the numbers. So now you add in that Mighty Blow +1, Dirty Player +1 also works to this effect, and we'll come to that in a second. You can see that armor 8+, 24% chance now of a KO or better. Armor 9+, 16%, armor 10+, 10%. So the odds of a KO or better are still less here than just going straight from a push. But this is where it gets important. The chance of rolling that casualty roll has gone from 1 in 6. It's gone from 16% to 27%. So you've almost increased the chance of that casualty if you've broken the armor by 50%. And this is where it kind of comes in to your question. Okay, do I go, if I've got a Mighty Blow guy and I've got a Dirty Player guy, do I take 2 chances to get a slightly better chance at that casualty result when rolling versus just taking the natural pals? But so far, Mighty Blow +1, armor 8+ is 24%. Armor 9+, 16%, and armor 10, 10%. So 1 in 10 of your punch down to the ground against a dwarf is going to result in a KO or better. Haven't considered thick skull, but you know. So these are the stats so far. And then we bring in the cheeky foul as well. So this does not include Dirty Player, and this is just straight from the fouling episode. Here we've got the stats of an armor foul with no supports. Okay, so let's assume we're knocking around an armor 9+ player. It's a human lineman, whatever. Cheeky foul, 27.8% chance of breaking that armor. You should be able, and this is where it starts to snowball. Dropping them out off the pitch, you just get to roll an injury. Everything's done for you. if you've got Dirty Player and you've got supports, you can increase the chance of you actually getting that second roll. Look at this, Armor 9 plus player, let's give him 1, 2, 3 supports. You've got 72% chance of getting that roll. So yes, it's less likely. Yes, it's not automatic. But if you've got Dirty Player and you've got 1, 2, 3 supports, I know this is kind of best case scenario mentality, but that's what we're looking at here. Alright, it's not perfect, but 7 times out of 10, you're going to go, yeah, 7 times out of 10, it works every time. But honestly, 72% of the time, you're going to go to that second roll. And when you've got Dirty Player, being able to get that casualty result from like I said, a 1 in 6 to 27%. Is a massive jump. It's 11%. You've almost increased by half again the chance of that removal being permanent, and that's what Sam is talking about. If you can do that with Mighty Blow and you've got a foul like this, the stats go way up. So with a foul, without Dirty Player, with no supports, Armor 9 plus, KO 11%, badly hurt almost 5% at that point. You're adding that to every single roll. So if there is that chance of breaking armor with a Mighty Blow piece to increase that casualty percentage up, and then you've got a Dirty Player piece to increase that casualty percentage up, and you've got players to support, you get a really good shot at taking that 1 in 6 casualty and making it almost 2 in 6, almost doubling the chance of that casualty being an actual casualty. Now, we looked at the grievous effects of casualties last week, but if you are playing in League and you've got a dirty gutter runner or a dirty war dancer who have got less good in this edition, just want to throw that out there, because I'm a gutter runner sympathist, you've got double the chance at just maiming them, miss next game, taking their legs off, that kind of stuff. It's massive impact. So the outcome. I'm not going to do all the maths of saying armor 8 with a Mighty Blow hit plus a Dirty Player foul. There's just too much to consider. But what you can do from looking at these numbers is you can gauge what you want in that situation. And honestly, we've talked about this loads of time. We talked about this when we talked about block versus Mighty Blow on your blockers. Are you trying to win this game right now, or are you trying to affect the league in the future? Because if you are happy to lose this game, or you're already in a commanding position, then maybe do take that power to the ground. It gives you the better chance of getting that SPP for your player. If you are playing to win the game right now, it's 0-0, it's 1-1 and you're in the second half, surf that player off. Ignore everything else we've looked at here. If you need to win that game, go for the surf. This is literally the block Mighty Blow thing again. But if you are playing to hurt that team, to hurt that player, to grab some SPP, or just to upset a friend, then go for the turf option. Okay, if you are looking for casualty points in a tournament, do that. If you're in a commanding position from a score point of view, go for the turf. Otherwise, go for the surf. It is close, but clear. Surfing is better. Straight up 1 in 6 cas. But turfing, if you've got some activations in the commanding situation, can go up as high as 1 in 3. Anyway guys, thanks very much for watching, and thank you to Sam for recommending this topic. I think we're going to try and have a look at the kickoff landing spot for next week, because someone did some great work on the Blood Bowl community for that. So I'm going to message him and say, hey, can I borrow your stats? And we'll have a look at where to place the kick and the effect of the kick skill. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Happy blocking. Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to support the show even further, please like and subscribe. It really helps us out. Or come and join us in our Patreon, link below, where you get early access to our content and monthly competitions. See you later.